Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Thursday. It is Things to Think on Thursday, and you're in the Aloha Perspective where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. So, I'm going to start with these cards, and then I'll get into my subject today, which I don't know how long I can talk about it. We're all guilty of it. So anyways, let's see. It may be unfair, but what happens in a few days, sometimes even a single day, can change the course of a whole lifetime. Khaled Hosseini. So again, it may be unfair, but what happens in a few days, sometimes even a single day, can change the course of a whole lifetime. I'm not sure what the context of this is, but yeah, lots of things. Snap of a finger, things can change. And, sorry, I had a cat here. I don't know where she went. So anyways, sorry, I'm still getting used to this mirror image thing, and it's still driving me nuts. I feel like I'm on a ship going sideways. So anyways, everything just feels lopsided. But, anyway. Okay. So, alright. Anyways, yeah. And it may seem unfair. It may seem unfair. It may seem horribly unfair, depending on what it is. I mean, it could be a good thing, right? Maybe you get lucky and you win something, or you win money, or you win a car or something, or maybe something horrible happens, right? Like there's an earthquake, or a good morning, baby sibling, like an earthquake, or just I don't know, something bad that can happen. So a tornado, that's what I was trying to think of, or a hurricane. Everything can change in just an instant. So again, it may be unfair, but what happens in a few days, sometimes even a single day, can change the course of a whole lifetime. So that's something to think on. So, enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Enjoy each moment, because even though this said days or a single day, life can change like that. Life can change on the dime. So, all right, my subject today is gossip. So I was struggling to think of something to talk about yesterday, and then older sibling and I were watching one of our TV shows, and it was 911 Lone Star. Love that show. Love both of them. So anyways, we were watching the show, and they were in Bible study, right? And one of the paramedics is dating the new pastor and everything. And there were these old hens, all right? Normally I wouldn't do any ageism stuff, but there were these hens pecking. And they were pecking in the sense that, oh, hey, you know what? I bet this is happening. I bet that's happening. And they were being so rude and crude about it, right? And especially at a Bible study. So, oh yeah, sorry, I just saw baby sibling's comment. Yeah, she definitely knows what it's like to have life change on the dime. She's a widow, so I think that says everything, right? One morning you wake up and then you go to sleep and everything's different. So, yeah. So anyways, but yeah, these two little hens, or three hens really, were just kind of squawking, right? And just saying all the stuff. They were gossiping. Now, I'm not just pointing out church people, okay? Because everybody gossips. People gossip about the movies, celebrities, your next door neighbor, at work. It could be anywhere. But, and I'm not going to lie, you're probably saying, well, you can get off your high horse. Oh, no, trust me. I've been there and done that. I've been gossiped about. I mean, I have been gossiped about. But I have good enough friends that have told me. So I've been very lucky in that respect. And I nipped it in the bud. But it also taught me a lesson. How would I feel if I knew somebody was talking about me? And now I knew. And, there's a lot of times that we'll complain about people, and, we'll sit there and just go like, oh yeah, great. But I will tell you now, I've had enough growth in my life that I will vent. Now see, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Gossiping versus venting. Okay, gossip is basically, the definition of gossip is basically, spreading something that may not be true without having all the facts, right? You're just like these two women were insinuating that there was more to this relationship than just, like they had gone all the way. Okay. But they hadn't. They hadn't. But that was their gossip. And then, of course, when you have people who are that high in a position, gossip starts to go in different directions and it trickles down. And you'd realize too that by the second or third person that your gossip hits, the story starts to change, it starts to grow. Maybe it evolves, maybe it devolves, which is probably a better thing. But it can turn ugly and it can turn bad and it can go sideways real quick. But what I liked in that show is that they they nipped that in the bud. So when we're venting, it's usually something that has been done to us, or like, oh my God, how does this keep happening? But I think it hits a whole different level when you can't let it go. I have a friend who it felt like for years literally vented about the same thing over and over and over again. It's like, then do something about it. But then, they would just start throwing in other stuff and just kind of being mean. And you're sitting there like, this is awkward, because sometimes the people, you're like, okay, this is awkward. And maybe they don't have the same relationship you have with this person. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I know we're all guilty of having gossiped. I know we're all guilty of having, said things. And, I don't think venting is a bad thing. When I actually Googled gossip, there were nothing positive was in this. Okay. How usually like it'll auto populate. Yeah. It was like, why is gossiping bad? Is gossiping not nice? Gossiping can be healthy for you. Gossiping cannot be healthy for you. So under the gossiping can be healthy for you, I literally did the drop down. I thought, how can it be healthy for you? You're literally talking about somebody else, about things that you have no idea if they're true or not. And it basically gave a definition more about venting. And we really need to separate this. When I vent about something, I literally am in this place now in my life where if I got an issue with somebody, I will tell them. And maybe not so mean, like, I'm coming off like, yeah, Shirley Murray's gonna blah, blah, blah. No, I'll say something because that communication heals issues. But sometimes you still need to vent. Sometimes you just got to let off that steam, like, oh my God, I can't believe this person did this again. And sometimes we have to stand up for ourselves. Usually. And if you're going to stand up for yourself, do it in a nice way. Because to me, office gossip is the worst. I can't tell you, especially working in a corporation, how crazy it would get sometimes. Like, oh, so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And, you hear news that might be coming from up high. And you're like, oh, and then everybody has all these ideas and everybody starts panicking. Gossip can make people panic. Okay, it can literally throw people into a tailspin. And most times it's over nothing. Over nothing. Or people will gossip about other things. Maybe something's happened in your office and everybody's got to have their word on it, or everybody's got to guess about what's happened, or everybody's got to say this, that, or the other. Until you know the actual facts, shut your fucking mouth. Period. Okay? I'm sorry. You know me. I get verbal. I get colorful. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not sorry for that anymore. Okay, at some point it was suggested that I kind of tone down a little bit. And from somebody very old school. I'm waiting for the hey. But sometimes I get very passionate about things. And I'm sure it's not the best thing to do because I don't mean to turn people off or I don't mean to turn people away. But I do get very passionate about things. And I really do think that adding that expletive in there really kind of makes people think twice. Look at all the tabloids we see, right? And you have to wonder how much of it is true and how much of it is just made up. For instance, if you want, you can use Prince Harry as an example. Okay, I'm like totally team Prince Harry, but sorry, I know, but no, when you really stop and think about it, and you really start looking at the tabloids overseas, you start thinking, holy shit, what is happening over there? There's older sibling, you are not old, old school, but not old. But anyways, you have to wonder what's happening over there. There are like 12 other royal families in this world. But this one gets the most attention. And you have people that are just kind of sitting there going, oh my God, we've got to get at this, whatever. The point is there's battles on both sides. So yeah, I just threw down my who I'm team of, but the point is, it doesn't matter which side you're on. You have to wonder why people, and here's the thing. We can blame the tabloids all day long, but who keeps them in business? The people. Who keeps the Inquirer in business? Who keeps People Magazine in business? Who keeps, Variety is it's an entertainment magazine, so, people working keep that one in business. The Wall Street Journal, people keep that one in business. But all of the magazines were, and I probably shouldn't include people in there, although sometimes, but think about the tabloid magazines, right? Like, just all the ones across the board. But who buys it? Who buys it? And it's not just about buying it monetarily. Who buys the information? Who actually believes it? And we base what we think about people on a lot of what we read. But how true is it? How honest is it? There are people who have had lives that have been that just got imploded and exploded because, oh, somebody picked up on this and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, so-and-so's having an affair with so-and-so and they're still married. And it's like, who cares? It's not your business. You don't know their business. Maybe they were, in a separation. Maybe they're not officially divorced. There's a lot of different things. And, sometimes the gossip is right, and it's sad. But in that case, it's not really gossip anymore. It's just fact, and somebody needs to take care of it. And I know, I could stand on my moral high horse all day. I could stand on the soapbox all day. But I figure, if you want to know something, ask. If somebody says it's none of your business, that doesn't mean you're right. It just means, literally, it is not your business. And that was the whole point last night, right? Because the whole line in the show was, I bet he's giving her more than just, what was it? I think he's filling her with more than just the Holy Spirit. Okay, and these are Bible study people. Now I know it's just a show. But and it's okay, because like I said, I'm not picking on religion. This just happened to be in the show. Because to me, to be honest with you, I think the worst place that you will ever find gossip is at work. At work. I've experienced it, I've seen it firsthand, and it is ugly. And sometimes amongst your own friends. So if your friends are gossiping about you, you really need to think about moving on. But and maybe that's why I have more acquaintances than I have friends. I keep a very tight circle. And I probably should open it up, but when I was talking about, I'm going to go to the show and then I'm going to go to my own example. But these women are so, I bet he's filling her with more than just the Holy Spirit. They hadn't done anything. But even when the girl's friend said, hey, these ladies are gossiping about you, and she's all, have you? She's all, that's none of your business. That's none of your business. And they were playing it to a point. They were keeping you in suspense, going, did she, didn't she? And I looked at older sibling and I'm all, they have not. They have not. Because these are two people who probably won't until they know there's a full commitment, that they love one another. And maybe because he's a pastor until they're married. I don't know. It's a TV show. But the point is she came in at the end and she schooled them all. And basically said, you know what? We're here. Why are we talking about one another? Why are we raking people over the coals? Which made me think about something else last night. So, that my beliefs go very spiritual and go very metaphysical. And I don't hide that anymore. I used to, but I'm not ashamed of it. You're either going to like me for me, or you're going to judge me on what I believe in. And I know people across the board. I know people who are in organized religions. I know people who are atheists. I know people who are agnostics. I know people who are just like me. I know people who, turn their focus to the very, like Wiccan or paganism. I know people across the board. And there's one true truth that I have found in all of them. That when you remove what they believe in, they're still just people. And some of them are the most beautiful people I've ever met in my life. I don't push my beliefs on other people. I do believe in God. He is right at the head of my spiritual table where I sit. And it's not because he's a comfy blanket. It's not because I grew up that way. There's always a part of me that's going to be Catholic. And that I can't. I think I tried to get away from that for a long time. And I think I tried to move away from that. But I was talking to an older sibling last night and I thought, I was baptized a Catholic. So the only way I'm never not going to be considered a Catholic is if I get excommunicated. And I have no desire to do that. So, I do have a religious background. I went to private school for 8 years. I went to Bible study classes in high school with my mom. My mom taught some of them for our confirmation classes. Then I was actually one of the youth leaders. And I think for a long time, because of people talking about me and my beliefs, it really started to hurt. So I really started to push back on that. I really started to push away from that. And I may not go to church on Sunday, but I do have my time with God. I do have time with my spiritual table, but mostly God. And, other people will say, well, you can't do that. You can't believe in more than this, that, or the other. Well, why not? It's like, I had, I don't want to say an argument, but I had a debate with somebody I know who, a while ago, and they keep trying to tell me that my path is wrong. My path is going to send me to hell. My path is this. My path is that. And I respect their opinion. They're probably going to be very surprised when we're all dead and they see me over there. But because I know a lot more than I let on. And I think for people to judge me that way, why are we judging? I mean, did the words in the Bible, judge not lest ye be judged, just escape everyone's minds? Or do we do it out of insecurity? Do we do it out of fear? Do we do it because it gives us a sense of superiority because we think we're right? I don't push my beliefs on other people because they're mine and everybody has their own path. This was not the path I ever thought I'd see me on. This isn't the path I ever, intended myself to be on. I mean, take the pentagram, for instance, right? The pentagram was actually used by early Christians, but most people don't know that because they didn't have the idea of the cross yet. And yeah, if you flip it upside down, somebody's always going to make something bad. Okay? I mean, you could make the Statue of Liberty an iconic religious symbol. Okay, I'm just using her as an example. Or the Eiffel Tower. Something big, right? Big Ben, the Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty. And if somebody flips it over, somebody's going to flip it over because somebody always has to come in with, oh no, that's stupid, that's bad, oh, go my way. And then all of a sudden, everybody takes this symbol and says, oh, that's evil, no matter which way it is. And they don't do the history on it. And it's just kind of like, I was laying in bed thinking about all this, and I'm like, and I know you're thinking, well, what does this have to do with gossip? It has everything to do with gossip, because people will talk about you behind your back. Oh, she's going to hell. She's going to do this. He's going to do that. Did you hear what they did? Did you hear what this person did? And oh my God, I can't tell you how often this would happen at work. And it's just kind of like, you always, and then you walk into a room and everybody stops and you're like, seriously? And half the time you're wondering, oh, are they talking about me or they just don't want me to hear something? But you're left on edge. You're left on edge. And this is why gossiping is stupid. But gossiping to me is not venting. Venting is when you have a legitimate blowing off steam moment. And by that I mean, you're just kind of like, I've got to get this off my shoulders, blah, blah, blah. I mean, what I will say is this whole journey has taught me something. And it's taught me something huge. And I'm past that journey now. I'm on a new journey. And I admit I am struggling really hard. I can't seem to move forward. I feel stuck. I feel cemented into one place because I am not used to having a plan, not having a plan. I'm not used to just trusting that everything is going to be okay, that everything's going to work out for its best. And then, you sit there and you're just kind of like, it's very, very, it really piques my anxiety. And I don't get anxiety that often, I admit. It is a part of my little dinged up mental health repertoire, but I don't get it that often. And I admit that the last week, I have been extremely debilitated by it. I mean, I can't function. I have to push myself sometimes to do the show because I was so determined to come back. But that's my mental health, and my mental health will be something I'll continue to advocate for everybody, because we have these moments. And I do feel stuck, and I can't figure out how to move forward. There's just this overwhelming fear. Okay, but that's a subject for another day. In fact, we'll save that for another day. But when it comes to gossiping, what do we get out of it? Do we feel good about ourselves after? I know some people, I think it's just a sense of superiority. Because I asked the older sibling that last night when we were talking. I said, hey, you know what? This would be a good subject after watching that show. That's the only reason I brought up the religion thing, was because they were actually in the church when this was happening. I have nothing against people in religion, or people who, sorry, this air is in my face. I don't have a problem with that. You do you do what brings you joy, you do what brings you happiness. And if you feel like you need to tell me and try to recruit me, that's fine. But I know that sometimes the harder we try, the harder we're going to fail. Because you can't push people out of what they believe in. That's like me going up to somebody and say, hey, I know you're going here, but I think you should believe what I believe. And sometimes it scares me that when people find out what I believe, that they're not only going to talk about me behind my back or pray extra hard for me, but they're going to stop talking to me because my beliefs don't align with theirs. And what I believe in my heart has nothing to do with the overall makeup of who I am. I mean, if you're just going to judge me because you don't think I'm going to heaven, then, or if you judge me because I believe in God, or you judge me because I believe in lots of other deities, then you're missing out on a pretty spectacular person. I have taken the last 9 years of my life, and I have really worked hard to get to a point where I can even compliment myself like that. Because I, for the better part of my life, have been my own worst enemy. I didn't need people to gossip about me. I do it myself. But in all that time when I was hurting and trying to heal and all that, I did try to be the best person I could be. And so I'm going to get to the group of friends I was talking about. We had this one group, and older sibling brought me into this group after I met her. And I made one of my best friends. I have known, in fact, it's funny because they just had their birthday. I have a couple of friends whose birthdays are right, like just a couple months after mine. So we're all the same age. So we hit the targets. And I was talking to him like, holy crap, I've known you for like 22 years. He's like, no way. I'm like, yeah. I said, I can't believe that. And he's one of my best friends. And I remember when we first met, he was, I think he was a little guarded. He was a little guarded because, he had moved from Canada. He was working in LA. This is one of my friends that worked at, in entertainment. And, I think they were just guarded because they didn't know what somebody was expecting from them. And it's like, I don't care what you do, and I don't this, that, or the other, whatever. You're just my friend. I'm not going to like you for what you can bring to the table. I'm going to like you as because, you're nice, you're kind, you're a friend, or eventually maybe if you find someone that you like, a romantic thing or whatever, I don't judge people. I mean, that's like saying, oh, I can't be friends with you because you're the janitor. That's dumb. That is so dumb. I mean, all of the day staff we had in our building when I was working in an office, I knew all of them by name. They were all amazing. And everyone would be like, you know so-and-so? It's like, yeah, I think the best thing you can do is make friends with the day porters. Not because of what they can do, but because it doesn't hurt you to be kind to somebody. We're all somewhere. We're all under somebody. I mean, even the top guy's got to answer to someone. And so anyways, I had a group of friends, and one of them, and I'm not sure how they are now, but because this was quite some time ago, but it explains one of the reasons I became so guarded when it comes to having friends and letting people in my circle. I found out later that they had been talking about me all the time behind my back, and it hurt. and it hurt, I mean, gossip, I'm being honest when I say this, gossip has always kind of made me uncomfortable, but then I was kind of awkward. I was never popular. And, I always felt bad. I'm not going to say I didn't talk about people because we're all guilty of it. And I can't say I'm not because I'm sure I am. I can't think of any specific examples right now, but oh boy, I'm sure I am. But no, it really hurt. And the reason I brought up my friend that I've known, who's one of my best friends, is because, you know, um, older sibling did something so nice for him. And all of a sudden, it kind of just, it melted his exterior when it came to us. And he let his guard down. And then we became friends. And this is at a time when I was pursuing, I was trying to pursue a career in entertainment. And I think location wise and, there wasn't a lot of inclusivity back then. So it was a little bit harder too. And, and so it was hard. It was hard. And the first thing he asked me is, he said, well, why do you want to? And I said, you know what? I think some of the best roles in the world are the character actors, because you don't get typecasted into certain things. And sometimes you do as a character actor, but I said, I think they're the best. I think they're the best because you get to play all these different kinds of roles and you get to be somebody different. And there was a time where I was in a lot of pain and I was going through, I hadn't healed my trauma. So being different was, but you know what? I think my shyness did not help at the time either. I was a very different person back then. And this is about 20 years ago. So I was a very different person about 20 some odd years ago. And I'm not the more comfortable person I am now. But what he told me next floored me. He's also, you don't care about, being famous. I'm like, I don't really care about being famous. That's not a big deal to me. I mean, that's not, no. So, just to be consistently working was the goal. And I don't really think I put my full effort into it. And I'm not really sure that was the path that was really meant for me, because I realized around that time too that writing has always been my passion. But like I said, what he told me next floored me. All my friends had said all these horrible things. Oh, she's just talking to you because, she thinks you can do this for her or that for her. I'm like, are you kidding me? I didn't really swear back then. But if I did, I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? And then they're all like, oh, and, older sibling, her parents were very well-known jazz musicians, and she grew up in the entertainment industry. She knew a lot of people. And they would gossip about her too. And by then, she was like a sister to me. And if I consider you a friend, if you were in my inner circle, I will protect you like a mama bear. Like nobody's business. And I got upset. And I asked them, I said, why are you guys talking about me behind my back? And they're like, well, we're not. And they're like, who said we were? And I didn't say anything. That's all I said was, why are you talking about me behind my back? Oh, we're not talking about you behind your back. But I knew they were. Because we used to talk about one of our other friends behind her back. And when I look back and I think about it, I think sometimes the moods that she has were just simply because she was under a lot of stress. She was under a lot of stress. And she was kind of living very close to the edge. Very close to the edge. And I'm not proud of those moments. I'm really not proud of those moments. But yeah, it hurt. It hurt bad. And then same at work recently, had been gossip, oh, blah, 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 Shelly, la, la, la. And it was just like, it was sad how quickly people could turn on you, that you trusted, that you believed in. And it's hard to talk to about it with other people because they haven't been under that same, scrutiny by the, specific person that you have. And so they don't see what you've seen. They don't know what you know. I mean, there were times at work when somebody would ask me, please keep this to yourself, and I would keep it to myself, and somebody else would say something, and they put the blame on me. And I don't think that's gossip, but it starts to become gossip when it's like, well, she can't keep a secret, she can't do this, she can't do that. It's like, I'm the fucking admin, all right? I can tell you where all the dead bodies are if I have to, but otherwise, my mouth is like Fort Knox. I'm not going to tell anybody anything that's not their business. But still, I was the victim of gossip again. So you can see why now that is not one of my favorite things to do about people. When people start to, it's like, well, do you know if that's true or not? That's always the first thing I might, well, do you know if that's true or not? Well, no, then why are you talking about it? I don't hold back anymore. I don't need to. I'm too old, okay? I don't consider myself old, but I'm too an adult to gossip. We can vent about people. That's understandable. We're going to vent about people. People are going to fucking piss us off, okay? We're human. People are going to piss us off. Okay? People are going to raise our ire. They're going to anger us. But when you start moving into being, cruel with your words, and you go beyond venting, that's where you need to kind of watch where you're stepping. You need to, maybe not even toe the line. You just need to step back from that line and say, oh, you know what? No, I'm going into uncharted territory here, and this is not the right place to be. So I'm not telling you I'm perfect, because I'm not. Like I said, I have been guilty of my own gossip, but I also try not to engage in it anymore. I try to nip it in the bud, because like I said, for the last 9 years, I've worked really hard to get where I'm at now. To this place of, I have a dinged up mental health, but that's secondary in my life. Sometimes it peaks up, and I have a feeling that once I figure out what my path is, where I'm supposed to be going, how I'm supposed to be moving forward, I know that it will settle itself. The anxiety is the not knowing. The anxiety is trying to figure it out and say, hey, you know what? Just do it. Just jump off that ledge and see what happens. Don't literally jump off that ledge, the proverbial ledge, okay? But just, leap. There's a saying out there, leap and the net will appear. So I know there are a lot of mixed messages in this perspective, but what did I say? The Aloha perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything else. So, and you literally got a whole lot of everything else. We ran the gamut on this one. But, it does kind of root itself in the gossip. So figure out what gossip is to you. Figure out what venting is to you. But remember, the definition of gossip is basically, telling people stuff where you don't have all the facts. I mean, I can't remember the exact definition, but that's basically it. Gossip is talking about something when you do not have all the facts. And, or you're just taking somebody else's word for it, which is basically not having all the facts. Somebody may think they know what they're talking about, but they may not. I've had plenty of people come up to me and say, oh, did you hear about so-and-so and blah, 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 and oh my God, I can't believe this happened. And it's like, and what they don't realize is I've known these people, and one time somebody said, oh my God, I heard somebody was was out with somebody else the other night. And I'm like, that was me. It's like, who is talking to you about all this stuff? And they're like, oh, and it's like, you know what? Seriously. And thankfully that only happened once, and it was like the stupidest thing too, but I don't even know what the person's issue was. But, anyway. But yeah, so before we start spreading rumors and spreading gossip, get the facts. And remember, if you're venting about someone, it's not gossiping, but be careful how long you vent. Give it that vent session. Maybe you need 2 vent sessions, then let it go. Depending on what it is. If you can let it go in a few vent sessions, let it go, because holding on to it, it's going to start doing you more harm than them. They're not going to fucking care. They don't care. Okay, if you're venting about someone and you're constantly venting about someone, they don't care. You're the one who's suffering. So don't give them your power. Take your power back. And don't gossip. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful, could I not say that? Wonderful, wonderful day. To everybody that was on my live, thank you for watching. I'm not sure how many of them noticed yet that I'm doing the mirror image, and you can tell, but look, you can actually see the cards, which is going to be fun for tomorrow, because tomorrow is Oracle Friday, and they're actually going to be able to see what the card looks like in the way it's supposed to look. But it's still driving me nuts. I know I have this piece of hair just sticking over my face because I cannot figure out which side this hair is on, and mostly because I'm getting used to the mirror of this camera. So again, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. And, like I said, I'm not standing on a soapbox for this one. I have opinions about it, but I have been guilty of it as well. excuse me, I have been guilty of it as well. So I'm not clean on this subject. And I think all of us have participated in gossip at one point or another. But, going forward after this, we can decide, are we going to participate or are we going to nip it in the bud? And I think as we get older, it's better to just nip it in the bud. But also, just remember, when we complain about all these daily magazines and all these tabloid magazines and shows, they're there for a reason. And they're there because people are keeping it on the air. So people go out and buy these things. So if you're one of those people, just, take what you read with a grain of salt. Because, a source says could be anybody. I mean, they could be making it up. You don't know. But it sells and it makes money. And sometimes people have to pay the price, because, their lives are splattered all over the pages. So be kind to people. Don't judge them. We've all done crazy things in our lives. We've all done things that we've probably regretted. But if you have done stuff that, maybe you regret, or maybe you feel like, oh, if I could have turned back time on that one, don't do that to yourself. Because you know what? These are growth experiences. This is how we learn. This is how we move forward into different directions in our lives. This is how we grow. It's growth. It's growth. And we can't change it. So don't shame yourself for it. You've done nothing wrong. All right? You lived your life. Maybe you made some mistakes. Maybe you tripped a few times. And, but if you fall down, get up where you fell. And if people try to make you feel bad about things, don't give them your power. Just say, look, you know what? I've done some dumb things in my past. And I have done a lot of, there are decisions I've made in my life that I regret, but don't regret, because I don't know how it would have turned out. I don't know how it would have ended, but sometimes those what ifs come up. And just like in yesterday's Self-Care Wednesday, you can't think about the what ifs. You have to let your past go. All right? If you keep living in the past, you're going to get stuck there. Just like if you keep venting about the same thing, you're going to get stuck in that feeling. And, here's one thing I have noticed, and it doesn't matter what your beliefs are. There is a universal energy out there. Okay? It's the law of attraction. And I know people are going to go, oh my God, Shelley Bray, you're going there again. No. Think about it. We call it Murphy's Law. We call it all kinds of different, well, at least here we call it Murphy's Law. In other countries, I'm sure they have other names for it. But, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong, right? Or if it can go right, it will go right. But when we vent and vent and vent, you're putting an energy out there that's going to constantly bring back these same feelings, these same issues. And, because what you're putting out there is what you're going to get back. So be careful with what you put out there. If you're going to vent about something, that's understandable because we got to let off that steam. But if you're venting about it because you have nothing else to talk about anymore, you just need to complain about something. And this isn't geared at anybody. This is literally about a former coworker of mine. And even older sibling began to notice it. Every time we went out with this person, it was just like the same complaint over and over again. Till finally I said, you know what? You just need to put the kibosh on that. Just stop. Tell them how you feel. And then all of a sudden the next time we went out, it was like, oh, there's like a whole new mindset here. Not because of me, but because I think they just, they stopped thinking about it. It's like, look for the positive. You don't have to have toxic positivity, but look for the positive in situations. Sometimes I think we rake people over the coals because of our own insecurities. And I've done that to people. I've had it done to me. And like I said, I'm human. I make mistakes. I make mistakes daily. Right now I feel like my biggest mistake is just feeling stuck. I actually went on the AI chat bot, right? They have the chat bots now on some of these things. And although I have to tell you, I think I stumped it a few times because it's like, oh, let's be creative. Let's write a story together. We started writing a story together and I had to finish it because it gave up. It says, sorry, I can't compute this. It's like, all right, fine. Maybe I should have used the Google chat bot instead. But I was just like, I got so lost that I literally typed out, what is my purpose? Of course, it couldn't answer me because it doesn't know, but it gave me a lot of suggestions on what my purpose could be. But, yeah, so I have things I need to figure out. And I think it's fair for me to not throw myself under the bus anymore. So if you're struggling with that as well, that's my final word, okay? If you're struggling with that as well, don't throw yourself under the bus. If you feel like you've done things in your past that might have seemed questionable, it's in your past. All right? Did it kill anybody? No. Did it kill you? No, because you're still breathing, watching this. So just let it go. Let it go. If we hold on to everything, we start getting weighed down by the baggage. Okay? And if you want to think of it as like cargo on a boat, right? Because I love the boat metaphors. You know, if you pull up that anchor, you're not going to move because you're holding too much cargo. You're probably hitting the sea bottom already, or the ocean floor. And so you got to start throwing stuff off. And you got to decide what to keep and what not to keep. But emotional baggage, it's exactly what it is. It's emotional baggage. And letting it go, which I know is not easy, because it's comfortable, right? It's comfortable. So it's like throwing out your favorite blanket. You know, maybe it's all torn up, maybe it's shredded, maybe it's got holes in it, but you just can't let it go because you've had it forever and it's comfortable. So we have to figure out how to move through that and forward from that. And so that's my goal. So anyways, I hope everybody, again, has a wonderful, wonderful day. Please, please, please take care of yourselves. I'll see everybody back here tomorrow that wants to join me for Oracle Friday. At 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live, all lives are public. Now that my friend Chris helped me figure out the mirror thing, dude's a tech guru, okay? Dude's a tech guru. So sent me a YouTube link, which I never even thought of. I never thought of going to YouTube. I go to YouTube for everything. For some reason, I never thought about going there for this. But anyways, so thank you to my friend. And, yeah, so we'll be able to see the cards. Y'all will be able to see the cards. I can see the cards, but you'll be able to see them the way they're supposed to be seen. So again, if you want to join me, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live, all lives are public. We do not need to be friends. I do share these to my Facebook page and my YouTube page, both the Aloha perspective, as a post viewing, in case you want to watch it later. I'd share it to Twitter as well. And if you're not into the oracles, just so you know, I work from a very good place, okay? I work from people of all sorts come in to watch this. So I try to keep it, well, it is Oracle Friday, so I admit I go a little metaphysical, but, you know, I don't come from a bad place. You know, I tap into my archangels, ask them to help me with my messages. So there you have it, in case you're worried or a little scared about it. So anyways, have a great, great day, everybody. And if I don't see you tomorrow, I'll see you Monday. Same time, same place. Have a great day.